Hi everyone, Victoria Jennings here. Welcome to Taking Care of Business today. Today we're actually going to be looking at um, the entrepreneurial mindset and how to think like a millionaire, because it really does matter how you think and what you think. Okay, it really does impact your business, about what you think about money and what your relationship has been with money. So we want to get into an abundant mindset. We want to get into a place where we know there are so many clients and customers we can serve that it's just a matter of getting in front of them, and we will be able to do that. And when we do that, we can create not only wealth for ourselves, but we can help others with our wealth as well. So we have more than enough to give back or start projects or give out scholarships to our programs, whatever that might be. But without the millionaire mindset, you're going to be in lack all the time. And I know this because I was there once upon a time. All right. And so I know how important it is to move that and change that. So, have you ever wondered what separates the successful entrepreneurs from everyone else? It's not just luck and connections, it's actually their mindset. So, we're going to discover today how millionaires think differently. And this is just an introduction. This hasn't got all of the answers, and it certainly doesn't go in a lot of depth, but you can do some more research on the subject and find some other mentors who really focus on this. I don't tend to focus on this. I am aware of this, I understand this, and I have embodied this, but it's not something I really focus on teaching about, simply because I'm more about, the roadmap and the pathway of getting places, rather than focusing on mindset. All right, but there are plenty of mindset coaches out there and plenty of mentors that you can tap into for that purpose, and I encourage you to do that. So the difference between a millionaire mindset and an ordinary mindset: abundance versus scarcity thinking. That's the biggest thing. Millionaires see opportunities everywhere, even when markets are down, even when markets are slow. It doesn't matter. They see the opportunity, and there always is an opportunity in all sorts of markets. We've got something happening at the moment called artificial intelligence, and a lot of people are panicking that it's actually they're going to lose jobs. They won't be able to do this, they won't be able to do that. I think everyone's going to find out pretty quickly that AI is an assistant tool, but it still requires the human influence over it. It still requires the human touch. And the people who have gone madly, the large companies that have gone madly sacking everybody, will find that out. Okay. So I wouldn't worry too much. Yes, some roles may change, and I encourage everyone to understand AI and embrace it. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. I do believe as a tool, it's fantastic for business, but it's a support, not a replace. So that's my view anyway. Okay. So growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So it's really important to be looking at the future. And I know some profiles can do that a lot easier than others, but we can all look at the future. And it's about embracing failure as feedback. So not being scared to fail, but saying failure is just a lesson. It's just a lesson, and I will learn from it. And it could be a very expensive lesson, okay? Or it could be a little tweak lesson. But we have lessons every day, no matter our bank account, no matter our business stage. That is the human condition. We are constantly learning, and that's why it's so important not to stop learning. A lifelong learner is what millionaires are. They're always looking for the next investment or the next thing they have to learn, or the next thing they need to learn so they can embrace it into their business, or the next event that they should put themselves in, or conference they should go to place them with like-minded people and other opportunities that may be there. So even if you have an online business, it still is really great to go out there and go into the real world and network with other people. If you're a big networker, you'll do that very easily, very quickly with lots of people. If you're more reserved, more shy, more introvert, you'll still do it, but you'll do it with a few people, but your connections will be deeper. We need to do it. It's good for our soul to get involved with other people and be around people. So just because you've got an online business doesn't mean you have to be isolated. All right. And long-term versus short-term thinking, millionaires focus on sustainable wealth creation rather than quick wins. Okay. So for them, it's about the profit margin, not about the revenue coming in. And that's a big difference in the millionaire mindset. Because I see a lot of people who want to be millionaires who are nowhere near it yet. And they're very quick to spend their money. And there's a difference between spending money and investing money. Spending money means you've spent it, you've bought whatever you've bought, and that's it. Nothing else is going to happen. You're going to enjoy that thing that you bought, but that's it. Money invested is money that will return to you. It gives you a return on investment. And all education brings a return on investment. Absolutely, without question. Even if I go to some workshops, I attend workshops all the time online, all the time, that are put on by different people in topics that I'm interested in topics that I need to understand a little more so that I can have meaningful conversations with the people that I delegate tasks to. All right, even from that perspective, it's important. So it's important to be consistently learning, consistently showing up for new things, new horizons. And you might know a lot of the things that are being talked about in the workshop, but there might be one golden nugget that could change something in your business that you didn't have before you went into that workshop, or before you went to that conference, or before you went and heard that speaker. And that is worth its weight in gold. And that's the difference between being open and being closed off. All right. So I encourage curiosity for the millionaire mindset, opportunities for the millionaire mindset, because without it, you can't grow. All right. So the traits of millionaire entrepreneurs: you don't build $1 million business with $1,000 mindset. So you've got to get into look, feel of what that millionaire status actually feels like, what it feels like to have $1 million in the bank account, and get into the feeling of that. And what would that mean for you and your family? Embrace that. What would that mean for your community and how you could give back? What would that mean for charities that you're involved with, and how could you help them? I was involved in one this week. I changed 50 women's lives this week in Nepal, of all places, because I could do that. I could make that decision on the spot because I have the means behind me. So that's the sort of thing that you can start doing. I'm not talking about having the fancy handbags or the fancy shoes or the branded this and the branded that. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about being able to utilize your wealth in very positive ways that actually affect the world that we live in, the community we live in, the people we serve. Because the more money we have, the more we can do that. We can't do that without money. All right? So, vision and clarity, number one, is what they focus on. They don't wing it. Millionaires don't wing it. They think with the end in mind. They start with the end in mind. And that's why in the roadmap that I share with people, we build a business from day one. We're building a business that one day we can sell if we want to. We may not. We may never sell it. We might not want to sell it, but we can. That's a millionaire mindset. All right. They know what they want. Millionaires are crystal clear on their goals, both in business and in life. They don't just work hard, they work with intention. Everything they do is intentional. Everything they do is intentional. And look, I'm just a little one of these people. I'm not a big one of these people. Okay? I like to hang around the ones that have done it a lot better than I have. And I like to hang around them. And their mindset's completely different. And when you go out with them, they're always talking about business. Doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday, a night out, it will always be about business and finding those opportunities. They define success on their terms, whatever that is for them. So it could be freedom, it could be impact, legacy, and they always align their actions that match to it. That's really important. So walk the walk and talk the talk, in other words. They reverse, they create roadmaps. So yeah, it's a roadmap I've created, right? They reverse engineer their outcomes rather than getting stuck in the day-to-day. And they build systems and hire teams and create steps to get from A to Z. That's what millionaires do. It's about leverage. Everything for them is about leveraging. And the most important thing they want to leverage is their time. Because then they can start other businesses. They can, there's a whole other world out there. That a lot of people that are in the grind and in the 9 to 5 just cannot see. Because it's a different perspective. It's a lower altitude. So we want you to go up in altitude to be able to see these things. Rise up. Okay. Ask yourself, if you're already a millionaire, and I'm sure a lot of you are, okay? If you're already a millionaire, what would your day look like? How would it be different to when you're not a millionaire? How would it look different to doing the day-to-day 9 to 5 grind every day? And that you can still have the 9 to 5 grind in your own business, especially a startup who's bootstrapping. You'll relate to this. But it's important that you get out of that mindset of working hard to make money, because it's not about working hard. It's about, and I know this is a cliche, but it's true. It's not about working hard. It's about working smarter. It's about leveraging others, leveraging people as quickly as you possibly can, as quickly as the business will support you to do so. Okay. So the second thing that is different about the millionaire mindset is they take decisive action. They don't muck around when it comes to decision making. They don't dwell. They don't procrastinate over a decision. They make it quickly. Why? Because you waste so much energy agonizing over a decision when you could be using that energy on money-making activities instead. And it can become a game. Making money becomes a game. It is a game. Money's not real anyway. It's just that we can exchange it for things that are real. But money's not real. We made it up. Okay. They don't wait for perfect. This is hard for a lot of the logicals to hear. Don't wait for perfect. Okay, we'll do to start with. We'll improve it as we go, is the entrepreneur mindset. Okay, speed beats improvement. Speed beats perfection. You're going to perfect something, it might never get to market. And in the fast-paced world we live in, that's just going to bring you undone, right? They take ownership. If something isn't working, they don't blame others. They just adjust it and get on with it. There's, let's just fix the problem. Doesn't matter who made the problem. Let's just fix it quickly, as quickly as possible. They value time more than money. They want to have freedom of time. They want to have freedom from shackles. They want to have freedom from the daily grind. That drives them. They want to be able to delegate and outsource everything, including themselves eventually. Okay? And they surround themselves with people who'll help them execute faster. Because that's what it's about. That's why I say outsource and delegate anything less than 20% in the makeup of your profile. Because you are wasting so much time trying to do it yourself that's actually costing you profit. It's actually costing you time that you could focus on money-making activities rather than administration activities. Administration activities are the first things that you should outsource or delegate. It's not going to grow your business. It's essential, it's valuable, but that's not about growing. It's about maintaining. As I said, it's essential, but it's not growing and it's not bringing in sales. Okay. If it doesn't align with your vision, your values, and your mission, then it's a no. And they know that. If it's not in alignment, they say no. And our businesses grow not from what we say yes to, but what we say no to. It's very important. So when we're bootstrapping a business and getting a business going, we tend to say yes to everything, even if it's not in alignment with our vision, because it's money. And we like scarcity is all around at that startup point, bootstrapping point. Okay, and so we tend to say yes to everything. And what we can do is really damage our reputation, because if we're not expert in that area, we can't deliver expertise to that client or customer. And that's doing them a disservice. And karma will come back. I can assure you, it will bite you. Okay. Millionaires move fast, learn fast, and fail forward. What do I mean by failing forward? You fail to learn. You fail to grow. So failures are great things to learn from, as long as it doesn't take you out of the game altogether, out of business altogether. It's just adjusting. Failures adjust your focus. That's what they do, actually. Totally adjust your focus. You're moving off track, you're going to find the north again. Get back on the back through the compass onto the North Star, right? Procrastination is a luxury that they don't indulge in. They want to move at lightning speed. And they're financially savvy. Millionaires understand that money is a tool, not a goal. It's a tool to create the business you want. It's a tool to create the life you want. It's a tool to create the social impact you want to have. Just a tool. They learn how to make money work for them. And believe me, that took me a long time to work out, and I'm still working it out. Okay. I was a good spender in the beginning, not a good investor. So I've been there, done that. And I wish I'd known about the difference between spending money and investing money many years earlier than I did. Millionaires know their numbers. They know they break even analysis. They know they're making a profit. They keep track of KPIs, cash flow. They know that's really important, and they know that it's important to make sure you're profitable because, or a product or a service is profitable, because if it's not, why are you doing it? It needs to be changed somehow. They invest in growth, training, mentors, marketing systems. Every millionaire I know has done that, is doing that, still does it. And they get together with other millionaires because that's their tribe. Okay? They put money into things that give them leverage. They multiply money, not just earn it. So they build assets. I like to build the business as an asset, right? Through intellectual property, teams, real estate, business systems, stocks, Bitcoin, whatever that might be. The worst place to have money is in the bank. Okay, have a look at your numbers, and this is the biggest tip I can give you. Look at your numbers weekly. Make sure you're profitable. Make sure things are on track. Don't just look at your bank account and because you've had some sales this week, it looks healthy. That's only half of the picture. It's not the full picture. And I know so many startup entrepreneurs who have got money in the bank, and so they think, oh, the business is doing great. It's not always doing great. There's often a lot of bleed. They don't think about their expenses. Then they get to the end of the month and all the bills come in, and then they think, oh no, all this money has just gone in bills. And they don't understand. So you need to know where you are all the time. You need to be able to track that money, okay, and keep an eye on it. Millionaire entrepreneurs don't just hustle. They compound. They find ways to compound. Okay? And practical mindsets and habits of millionaires, they have daily rituals of gratitude, journaling, visualizations. They're investing in personal development all the time. That never ends. They're surrounding themselves with like-minded, growth-oriented people. And that's who they want to hang out with. Okay? So what's one habit you could start implementing this week that would help you have a millionaire mindset? Okay? What are some things that you can do to foster that millionaire mindset, to get out of that scarcity mindset, to get into the abundance mindset? And it's not about tricking yourself. It's about feeling the energy of that. You know, I love convertible cars. I adore them. It's my idea of a motorbike. It's a bit safer. I love wind in my hair. And I've always manifested them. And how did I manifest them? By imagining I was in the car, smelling the new leather, driving down the highway, having the wind through my hair, how it would feel to have that car. That's what you need to do about your business as well. I would even go and test drive the vehicle, so to see what it felt like and to own it. Like in my mind, I own it now. And of course, I ended up owning them, didn't I? And my business rose to the occasion to be able to support such a luxury item. And that's an example of how I've spent my money, not invested it. Cars is my weakness, okay? So it doesn't matter now. The business is way big enough to support that anyway. But I probably bought them before I should have. However, it did spur me on to make sure the revenue came in, because I had to make those payments, right? And the leases, because you only lease a vehicle when you own a business, you don't own them. You don't want to own them. So I hope this has helped a little. Really focus on your entrepreneurial mindset. Really get into what that is, because it is a different mindset to when you have a job. It's a way different mindset. Okay. And rather than let it creep up on you, it would be really good to start getting into the feeling of it and the habits of it, and looking at your bank account and measuring your money and make sure you're profitable. All those little things are what entrepreneurs do. And your own personal development. Continually support your own personal development. All right. I hope that's been useful, and I hope everyone's doing well. If you'd really like to become a millionaire, then I encourage you to check out Roadmap to Millions Bootcamp, because that's what it's all about, in the practical way to get there. Okay. So if you'd like to know more, please book a call with me. I'll leave a link down below so that you can. And make sure you've done your profile before we get on the call, because I like to align your profile with your business, and we can see what's happening or what's not happening because of the profile that you are in your business. All right. I will talk to you again next Thursday for another episode of Taking Care of Business. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.